start asking the questions, I want you to be aware that in the Sonoma County Gazette for the last 2 months, I have asked each candidate 3 questions. They have given us their answers. There are copies of the questions and answers on that side table, and if you missed either one of the August or September edition, they're over there as well. And I've asked 4 more questions in the October Gazette that's coming out next Wednesday, a week from today. The fourth question being, is there anything that I haven't asked? So, because I tried to keep it kind of tight, and people asked me to ask questions, and I tried to get as representative as possible. But that's what this is about. This particular town hall, and then there's another one on October 6th that will be in Roseland, and the moderator will be Dwayne DeWitt, who is my Roseland columnist. So, Natasha, do you want to get up and ask your first question?
Well, I want to thank, I'm afraid to touch this thing. I want to thank Vesta for responding to my concern about having participatory democracy here on the river. I think the town halls are wonderful, but at this point, I don't think they're suitable. I think that after the election, we'd love to have people come and let us participate. But my personal opinion, and this is not the question, is this is not the time to have a one-sided discussion. The thing that I'm very concerned with here, and that Lynda has touched on obliquely, is the fact that we, out here in West County especially, have the TOT taxes, and we pay an enormous amount of gas taxes, plus our property taxes. I've lived here for 36 years. I'm happy to pay my property taxes to support the schools and all the other important things. The idea of asking more people to volunteer for more committees is very difficult. I'm a person who is a volunteer. Many of the people in this room are volunteers. Where are you going to get more people? Thank you.
So the goal of the Community Improvement District would be to return a portion of the TOT into the community. And I would actually say that I have heard a tremendous groundswell of support for this idea, and I know that we do have a lot of committees, but I think one of the frustrations with some of those committees is that they sort of lack authority or power to actually make the changes that they want to. And so the idea of creating a community improvement district that actually had money to spend locally, I think is something that people would step up to the plate. And I've heard from a number of people who have said that they would absolutely be willing and even excited to step up and serve on a community improvement district. And I will say that this idea actually came out of the candidate forums of the primary, where this was just what we heard time and time again. You know, we are the crown jewel of Sonoma County. We are why people come here. We are the river. We are the coast. We generate millions of dollars for the county of Sonoma, and what we get back is maybe a $10,000 grant, maybe, that if we jump through 5 hoops, we get that. To me, that's unacceptable. And I think that we all bear the burden of the tourism industry. We all deal with the traffic. We all deal with the crowded beaches, with the litter that is left behind. And I know a lot of the people that are here in this room are some of those people who go and pick up all those cigarette butts, from the streets of Guerneville. So I think that we would all be a little bit more benevolent about those impacts if we actually saw the money that they were spending be reinvested in our community into things like recreation programs for children and seniors, things that were really tangible and that we could hang our hat on. And so anyways, this proposal came about in response to hearing time and time again, why is it that we don't get any TOT funds? And then when I sat down and thought about it, I realized it's partly because we don't have an entity that could really receive them and disperse them fairly in the community, which is why the Community Improvement District came up. And actually someone brought up also at a forum that a Community Improvement District would also be able to then go out and pursue state and federal grants as well on behalf of the community. So it would actually have considerable power as well as the ability to advise policy for the supervisors.
One of the things I think about when I think about 2 new districts is that in the 5th district, we already have at least 40 special districts. We have Parks and Rec districts, we have community planning districts, we have fire districts, we have the Palm Drive Health District, we have school districts. We have over 40 of them already. So I'm not sure we need another new district to encourage public participation. But I think that Lynda is actually correct when she says that we do need more public participation. I do get a little concerned about the TOT, though, because unfortunately it's distributed under this formula that is voted on by 5 supervisors, and it's going to be really difficult to find 2 other supervisors that are willing to take money away from their own districts and put it in the 5th, as much as we might want to. What I'm real excited about talking about, though, is this whole new industry that I referenced in my opening statement. On your ballot in November is going to be the opportunity to approve or disapprove the Adult Use of Marijuana Act. It's polling at something like 59% statewide. So if this, in fact, gets authorized by the voters of the state, we have this whole new opportunity to tax this industry that will suddenly become legal. Now, hopefully we'll have time to talk about the regulatory structure that I believe we need, but the point on the tax is that that's an opportunity to then craft a tax that is actually more equitably distributed based upon the needs within the community. We have something brand new that we can actually talk about doing equitably without having to ask other supervisors to do something that realistically they aren't going to do, which is vote against their own district. So we do have some opportunities. I'm looking forward very much to having more community conversations about how do we move forward to regulate this industry and tax it, and then what exciting things we can do with that new tax. We can start to fix our roads. We can reinvest in our parks. There's a whole host of things that we can do. Early childhood education, which I think is something we all agree on. There's a lot of investment that our community needs, and this is a potential source to do it with. Perfect timing.
In order to get anything done on the Board of Supervisors, you need to count to 3. There are actually 2 other supervisors who are faced with a very similar situation where they generate more TOT revenue than they get back. That means that there are 3 supervisors who would tremendously benefit from earmarking a portion of the TOT revenue to be reinvested in their community. Conversely, there are 2 supervisors who receive a lot of the TOT revenue, don't generate any, who would probably be not as happy about this proposal. But when you're sort of looking at equity, and again, you got to count to 3. So.